Who's actually going to get the most out of a high-end gaming laptop like the ASUS TUF A18, and who should just keep scrolling? If you're wondering whether the price tag matches everyday gaming, streaming, and a little bit of work from home, you're not alone. The decision often boils down to how you plan to use the machine, how much you value a future-proof GPU, and whether you're comfortable carrying a 2.8 kilograms beast around your apartment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started looking at the TUF A18, the thing that kept me up at night was the promise of instant gratification. ASUS markets this laptop as a resilient, performance-driven device, but resilience can mean different things to different people. For a gamer who lives in a dorm or a small studio, the laptop's chassis is built to survive a few bumps and occasional spills, but that same durability adds a little extra weight compared to ultrabooks. If you plan to shuttle it between a coffee shop, a friend's house, and a LAN party, you might find the heft a trade-off. On the other hand, if you're looking for a machine that can sit on a desk for hours, handle the occasional drop, and still deliver a smooth 240Hz gaming experience, the durability is a real plus. The first thing I checked was the processor. The AMD Ryzen 7260, paired with Windows 11 Pro, gives you more than enough headroom for modern AAA titles and multitasking. In practice, that means you can have Steam running a demanding game, Discord open for voice chat, and a web browser with a few tabs without feeling the system hiccup. I ran a quick benchmark in Cyberpunk 2077 with medium settings, and the frame rate stayed comfortably above 60 frames per second, while the background Chrome tab barely nudged the CPU. For a gamer who also streams on Twitch, the CPU won't throttle you out of a decent stream quality, though you'll still want to keep your resolution at 1080p to keep the encoder happy. Now, onto the graphics card, the RTX 5070. This GPU is a step up from the older RTX 3060 mobile chips you see in many mid-range laptops, and that translates to a noticeable lift in ray tracing performance. In a real-world scenario, I played Valorant at 1080p with ultra settings. The frame rate hovered around 240 frames per second, fully exploiting the 240Hz panel. When I switched to Elden Ring at 1440p high settings, the FPS dipped to the high 70s, which is still very playable and lets you keep the visual fidelity without sacrificing smoothness. The point is, if you're hunting for a laptop that can comfortably run newer titles at a 1440p resolution with quality settings, the RTX 5070 is a solid match. However, if you're strictly after 4K gaming, you'll start to feel the limits. The card will still push frames, but you'll likely need to dial down settings to maintain a fluid experience. One area where the TUF A18 shines is its display. The 18-inch WQXGA panel at 25601600 delivers a crisp image, and the 240Hz refresh rate makes fast-paced shooters feel buttery. I spent a few evenings racing through Forza Horizon 5, and the combination of a high resolution and fast refresh gave a sense of detail that you rarely see on laptops. The wider 16:10 aspect ratio also adds a little extra vertical real estate for productivity tasks. Imagine having an extra line of code visible while you compile, or seeing more of a spreadsheet without scrolling. That said, the panel isn't HDR certified, so if you're looking for the brightest, most vibrant colors for content creation, you'll find the color accuracy decent but not studio grade. For most gamers, the trade-off is acceptable because the higher refresh rate outweighs the lack of HDR. Memory and storage are where the laptop truly positions itself as future-proof. With 32 GB of DDR5 RAM, the system can handle massive game worlds and simultaneous applications without resorting to swapping. I tried loading multiple mods in Minecraft while streaming, and the RAM never hit a ceiling. The 1TB PCIe SSD is fast enough that load times feel almost instant. You'll see game worlds appear within a second or two, and any software installation finishes in a blink. If you're the type who hoards a library of large games, the capacity is generous, but you'll still need an external drive or cloud backup for long-term archives. The SSD also makes the laptop feel snappy when you're just browsing the web or editing videos. You won't hear the familiar click-clack of a spinning hard drive. Connectivity is another practical concern. On the TUF A18 you get one HDMI 2.1 port, which can handle a 4K 120Hz external monitor. That means you could plug the laptop into a TV for couch gaming while keeping the laptop screen for the UI. 2 USB-C ports, one 4.0, one 3.2, give you flexibility for fast data transfers and charging, while the 2 USB-A 3.2 ports cover your older peripherals. I tested an external SSD via the USB-C 4.0 port, and the transfer speeds topped out at around 3 GB per second, matching the internal SSD's performance. The only downside I noticed is the lack of an Ethernet jack.